Okay. Okay, guys, we're going to be starting in about 5 minutes. So thank you very much for tuning in tonight for the Rhine talk for our charter cruise we have coming up. So hang on tight for just about 5 more minutes.
You can just leave it on. Yep, they can replay it.
I was going to tell everybody about that. They needed a couple more days to get the rest of the members going out since their manager was on.
And when do we get on this show?
I'll go.
But I'm just asking a question. This said the second. I thought we were going on.
That's when you're checking in.
I'm an old fart.
You're all good.
Thank everybody.
If you want to. Can I steal these chairs? Yes. I'm going to move them up. I'm getting lots of noise. I've got seats over there for you guys.
You don't want to stand? Get in here.
Yeah, help yourself.
I just want to say this is the first time I'll be on a cruise, a chartered cruise, and I don't have to work. So, yes, I look forward to spending time with you guys all, and thank you for joining us on our first endeavor of a different chartered cruise that we get to act like real cruisers. So instead of maniac Buckeye fans, but but it does raise a lot of money. So thank you all for coming tonight, and I'm going to turn it over to Beth. But if you have any questions, Janice, Lisa Stevens, Beth Mowry, and Lisa Cisco, if you guys don't know me. And thank you all for coming. Chicken in the back. Thank you. And any drinks are in here. There's beer, seltzer, water, Coke, anything you need. So, and if you have friends watching, it's going to be on the, they're going to be able to watch it tonight. So, everybody wave.
Okay, so we've got a presentation ready for you guys. I will just ask, we're going to do like an odds and ends towards the end with a lot of that information, those random questions that we've been getting asked, and then we're going to have an any question session at the end. So if you want to go ahead and just, if you get a question, you should have a notepad in your bag. Just scribble it down until we get to that section, because you never know, we might answer it for you during the presentation. So, okay, so like Miss Lisa said, I'm Beth Meyer. We have Lisa Steffens right over here. And then we have Janice Frankenberg. We're ready to go in the back. We have, like I said, you said, I've got to be a little louder. We've got Lisa Cisco and Chris Quinn in the back. So we're super excited you guys are able to come out for us tonight and brave the weather. We really appreciate you and everybody who's watching online. We're so glad you're watching online with us as well. So we're going to go ahead and jump in. We're going to start with the inclusions. We all know, you know, kind of the gist of what's included. Your cruise accommodations, your prepaid gratuities. Let me turn my little screen here. Your prepaid gratuities, shore excursion in each port, all your gourmet meals on board. You've got wine from the local regions with beer and soft drinks during lunch and dinner. You have a complimentary sip and sail every day to a cocktail hour right before dinner. So we've got everybody together and you get a cocktail then. And then you have your free coffee, tea, ice water, iced tea all day long. There is a sun deck with a heated pool. I can tell you when we were on it in October, there was one day that was a little warmer than others, so we went back to the ship and kind of got in that heated pool for a little while. So don't forget about that. And then you've got your complimentary use of onboard bicycles and helmets, and then your nightly entertainment and such. So on to our lovely vessel. This is the Ama Sienna from Ama Waterways. She's a nice little pretty ship. We had her on, like I said, in October, and she was really just, you know, a nice, luxurious vessel to be on. Here's some of the pictures we got for you in the upper left-hand corner. That's one of the lounge areas, so that's at the front of the ship. So that has a nice area you can, eat sandwiches at nights. We play cards in there. You've got your sun deck bottom left, and then you've got your good old-fashioned cornhole straight down the middle of the top deck, which is great. It's going to be a good time. Your heated pool, like I said, it's a really great pool, and there's a bar that sits right down at the end of it as well. So there's a bartender down there for whatever you need. The 2 photos with the floral couches, that is the main lounge area. So a lot of stuff goes on in there, and that's when you're just going to be able to spend time with each other. And then the top right, that is the bar in the lounge as well. So that bartender's there all day for whatever you need. And then there's also little bites of little cookies and brownies and little things that are always around there. You can grab a little snack on your way. Some of the onboard amenities, you have your fitness center, of course, if you're one of those people that want to jump on out there and start your day on the treadmill, that's there for you. The beauty salon and spa, so there's great services available for that. You've got your gift shop, like we said, the heated pool with the laundry service with a fee, and then the complimentary bicycles on board. When we move into your actual staterooms, you're going to have your plush bedding, your bathrobes, slippers, your high-quality bath products. I know there were a lot of questions regarding, shampoo, conditioner, those type of things. You'll see the nice setup that you've got in the bathrooms, which they're very nice. We'll get to those. And the suites, if you're in a suite, they do have the larger sitting areas as well with the shower and the bathtub. And then your entertainment on-demand center in the room. I can't tell you how many nights we went back to our room and turned on Mamma Mia and just watched Mamma Mia as we went to bed. So there was a lot of different shows, and they also do have the music channels on there while if you chose, you want to sit down on your balcony and, watch the river go by, you can have music playing in your room. All of that's pretty. And then we did snag from when we were on in October the laundry service menu and pricing. So that'll be emailed out to you guys. Just know that was the pricing in October. So there may be some changes, but you're going to be able to see what that laundry service is going to cost. Yes, sir. Question? We're going to get to that. I've got that coming up with the electric. So the next we're going to talk about some of our rooms. So when we switch to the slides for the suites, just know there's 2 photos. And there's a video, like a little video walk around of the room type, so that way you can actually kind of see what it is walking around. This was the French balcony, and it was myself and my best friend, so we had our beds split, so that's why the beds are apart like that. If you have not already requested beds split and you want them, make sure you let one of the 3 of us know, so that way we can get them split and on that manifest taken care of. First up is your suite. So like I said, these have the extra living area, sitting area, with the bedroom is kind of divided off, and the bed faces out the window. This is the French balcony. So you've got your open balcony and your French balcony as well. And then that's a really good sized bathroom as well. That's definitely a good plus. And that's what the bed looks like pushed together as one instead of the 2 separate. Next is going to be this is your French balcony, where you can't actually step outside, but it opens up, and that's with the bed together. So the room is just a little bit smaller, but it's still a really good size, and the way it's laid out, it's so great. And then your fixed windows. So these are the ones that are a little bit lower. You don't have a balcony. You've got the window on top. As you see, the bathroom's kind of short and stout instead of long and thin, so it's still a good size. And then just kind of yeah, it's still a nice shower. You can't beat a shower like that. And then I'm going to have Janice come up and talk for a second about the dining on board.
Thank you. So on the dining on board, you have the main dining room. So this is a picture of that, and that serves breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It is open seating and a menu like you would expect to have. So a lot of variety to it, whether you want gourmet style or if you want more everyday kind of food, you'll find plenty of options there. There's also the chef's table, which is kind of a specialty night for some of you to opt for. There is no extra fee for it. You just make a reservation when you get on board for that. It's an open kitchen, so you can see the chefs preparing the food, and it's more like tasting plates, but plenty of it for sure. So you would have breakfast in the morning before going out on tour. You can come back for lunch, or you can stay in port for lunch, and then and when you come back in the afternoon, it would be happy hour, and then dining in dinner in the evening. Anything else you want me to throw in there on that? Right, yeah. There's enough just for the people on the video. There's enough space on for the video people. I just want to put in there that what Lisa was just saying is that there's enough space on the chef's table for everybody to go once. So. Yeah, no light breakfast. No light breakfast. Okay, anything else you want me to go right now? No.
You're fine. The question was, for those online, it was, do you ever, can you choose to not eat on board? And absolutely, there's some days where later in port, there were several days where we chose to eat in port and not come back to the ship. Just know that, that meal obviously isn't going to be included. But hey, if you find a nice Kolsch bar in Cologne where you want to sit here and have some more pretzels and potatoes, help yourself, because we might be there with you. Absolutely. And one note about the main dining, I have some weird food allergens, which if you have those, please let us know so we can get them noted. And there was always the regional fare or whatever was going on, but then there was always a menu on the left side that was your steak, your chicken, your fish. A good standard menu that those never changed every day. So I knew if one was a little more, that I would be happy over here with the steak option or the chicken option for that night. So that's a good way to look. And then right on the second floor, as you're going into the restaurant, you can check it out during the day, but they do have the lunch and dinner menu posted right outside so you can see what's coming up for the day. It is open dining, so the dining time will be like 7 p.m., whatever they tell you in your daily cruiser, and then you just go on in. They're going to ask you how many's in your party, and then they're going to go ahead and take you and get you seated. So there's no real, we're not going to make you assign your seats. We're not going to do any of that. This is your guys' trip where you just get to be and not worry about a thing, so you just get to be. So we're just going to kind of move through the itinerary really quickly. I know that you guys are familiar with them because you've seen it in the brochures and such. We're going to use this portion to kind of talk about some of the attractions, and I know there's a lot of questions about shore excursions, so we'll touch on those too. We're going to embark the cruise in Basel and then make our way northbound and end up in Amsterdam. So it's a nice little quiet journey, but it's gorgeous. There are several people in this room. A lot of people actually do have the pre-night. You went ahead and booked your pre-night with us in Basel, so that's great. It's going to be at the hotel. It looks like it's Euler, but just so you know, Euler. So that's how that's pronounced, Euler. Yeah. Say Euler to the taxi driver. Don't say Euler. Oh, this is just for the online people, so that's why I'm trying to project a little louder. So the Oiler is in a fantastic location. It is right in the city center, next to the train station. So it's just a prime destination, walking distance from a lot of different places to eat and such. When you arrive in the Basel airport, you'll go through your customs and everything. I think it's really neat. This airport, is so tiny, and it sits on the border of France and Switzerland. So when you're going to leave the airport, you have an exit for if you're going to France and an exit if you're going to Switzerland. So you just make sure you go to the Switzerland exit. And they're going to get you right on there. The taxi, because there are no transfers, the taxi service from the Basel airport to the Oiler was so easy. You walk outside and they're just lined up there for you. I can tell you we had 4 of us in our taxi. It was about 4 miles, and it came out to being in October about $46 US with the conversion. So they take card, and they do fight you if you want a tip, because we know that they are not huge accepting of tips over there, especially if you're paying with a credit card. They're not going to let you tip on a credit card with a taxi. So just note for that, and they'll take. Yes. So the tipping isn't really a thing over there, so we just kind of stick with that. Exactly. So, and then with your stay at the Oiler, you do get the Basel card, which is the free public transport along with the Wi-Fi, and there's a couple different walking attractions and such that come at 50% off as well. In your packages, you have a little sheet of paper that's 2-sided. One side are some additional tours that we can book for you in Basel, and one side's additional things in Amsterdam. So make sure you look over those so you can get those reserved in advance as well. It depends. They were available both sets of days. It's with some of our preferred partners. So if you're coming in 3 days early, we can check on a date that works with you. So we just need to know which day you want to do it, and we'll knock it out. So our first official stop, obviously, is going to be when we embark in Basel. And so we've got a couple pictures here that I kind of want to explain to you guys. Well, first off, your embarkation begins at 3 p.m., and then all aboard is at 7 p.m. If you're taking a taxi from the Oiler, it was about 2 miles, ended up costing us about $24, and that was for 4 people, which was great. If you're coming from the airport, you kind of want to plan about the same price that what we suggested for the airport to hotel. So right there, about $50 right there. When you arrive at the Basel St. Johann Park, it's not going to look like the cruise port of your dreams. I'm going to let Janice talk about that portion of it. It's not going to look like the big Royal Caribbean ship. So I'm going to defer to her here, and we've got some pictures to show of that.
So it really is kind of easy, and you'll be really amazed, because when you step outside of your cab when you arrive, this really is what you're going to see. And, really more like that. But there'll be a couple of gentlemen there to take your luggage, and you'll just walk onto the vessel, and you'll do your check-in right on, You'll just walk right on the vessel. You do your check-in. Right. Yeah, the name of it's there. Right. We'll probably be, Right. And you're not looking for a great big building or anything like that. You're looking for this is what it'll be. But there'll be somebody there to greet you. There will be AMA Waterways. It'll have an AMA Waterways sign. And So, all right. Is there anything else you want me to tell about that?
We were talking about if they have to walk across.
Oh, yeah. So
we do have one note when it comes to how river cruises operate on the Rhine. And we've got a picture of it up here that Janice is going to talk about on the left.
Yeah, so sometimes life on the river is sometimes that you just line up a couple of boats because there's one dock. And so this shows that you might not be able to see it from where you're sitting. But it could mean that you're going to walk through another vessel to get to the port, or or another ship will walk through ours to get onto land. So it's kind of like goes back to the days when people like lived a lot on the river. And you'll see it a lot in the canals in Amsterdam where people do live on the rivers, and they call that rafting. So so don't be surprised by that, I guess. It's just something we wanted to tell you about ahead of time. Anything else?
And then if possible, if you can't do the stairs, they have the elevator.
Oh, yeah. If anybody can't do the stairs down to the river's edge, there is an elevator. So just tell the guys that are taking the luggage that you need the elevator, and they'll point you in the right direction.
Like that little building that you see there, right there, that is its cruise port. So that little building, you'll see that white brick or white box that's on top. That's part of the elevator. They'll walk over with the roller full of everybody's luggage that just pulled up, go on the elevator, bring it down. They bring it onto the ship, so you can come down that same elevator, or you can choose to come down the stairs and walk onto the ship. It's up to you. And then we're going to start our journey here. And I do have to kind of note on this. The weather in May is gorgeous. It's a good spring weather. Their average temperature runs between mid-50s to 68-ish, so it's a nice spring trip. So that's definitely something that you want to look forward to. And they say they average about 8 or 9 rainy days a month, so we can just kind of cross our fingers those aren't going to happen on our days. Not for long. And then one other picture, because this is where we're going to start, and we're going to head northbound. We're going to start getting locks. So when you get into your room, you're going to have this little sheet of paper, and it's going to break down every lock that we go through and how deep it is. It's kind of just interesting to walk along with. The picture you see on the top right, that we were coming back from dinner, and where we walked on board, we were in the middle of going... Were we going down or up a lock? We're going down. So we sat there and watched it as the entire ship lowered against that wall. So it's really interesting. And there was one day, it was the day that we were doing more of the river cruising. I went back to my room to read a book, and I sat on the balcony, and we went through one of the locks. My room was pitch black because there was no windows. But it was just kind of interesting. But you'll have... It's a lock. If you don't know what a lock is, along the river, they have sections where the river isn't that easy to transition with the depth. So they move the ship in, and then it either fills with water or releases the water to either get you up to the next level or down. And then they open the gates, and you continue down the river. So you're going to go through that a lot. Yeah, we don't like waterfalls. No, not at all. And then, just a note, like I said, you're going to get that paper with the lock information every day. I know most of us are frequent cruisers. We're used to our daily cruise planners. So they're going to have those for you every day in your room. It's two-sided. It goes through the excursions for the next day and all those different things, what time, safety briefing, captain's dinner, all of that. And also, when you're getting on and off the ships while you're in port, they do have paper maps available. If you don't want to use your phone, if you want to kind of go the way of the paper route, there's one for every port. Okay. We're moving on now to our first official port stop, which is Breisach. So this kind of sits in the Germany area, but really close to the Alsace area of France. So some of the shore excursions are kind of a little bit of both. Your first one, that word with an R, I'm going to 100% tell you I'm going to butcher a lot of these words, and I'm sorry, but that is the Requeer excursion. And don't worry if we're going to have a paper, and when you go online to register, it's going to give you your full description. We just kind of want to show you what's available. Requeer was one of the cities that is rumored to be what they based the town from Beauty and the Beast on. So that little village, that's one of the spots that was rumored to be on. Same thing with Freiburg. Black Forest hike, I will warn you, and I'll let Janice talk about what she did as well. I did the Black Forest hike. That is a level 5 active. That is a level 5 active. It was gorgeous. Gorgeous. The picture on the left was up when we were in almost at the very top. The right was from the one Janice that went on, so she'll go through that. And then the Brysock Wine Bike Tour. Almost in every stop, there is a bike tour for you to take. That bike tour is about 16 miles long. So if you're a bike person, get ready to ride. Yeah. They're all pedal bikes. So the complimentary bikes on board, those can be checked out if you want to explore one of the cities. On your own, yes. And then, Janice, which tour did you do again for this one?
I did Rick Weir, and like she said, I mean, it does make you think Belle is going to come right around the corner. It is charming. It is very charming. And, you know, one of the things that continually will amaze you is how old some of these places are, you know, because there is a gate. When you walk up that street, at the end of that, there's a gate that was built in the 13th century. I mean, it's just hard to fathom for us, but it is a beautiful little town. It's not very big. And I enjoyed a wine tasting in one of the bars, and there's little shops, and you know, just enjoying the ambiance. You're absolutely right. That's a good word for it. Yeah. So.
And then this will be a port where we leave a little earlier. We'll probably end up leaving somewhere about 1 or 2 p.m. all aboard right about there at lunch to get us up to our next stop. But those definite times will be listed in your cruise planner and in your travel documents. And we'll go through that with your cruise documents soon. You have a question? The Black Forest hike, the question was the duration. It was about, with the travel time, about 4 hours. So it's about an hour there, hour back. All of those are about a 45-minute to an hour drive away from the port.
Do you remember how many miles that I
The Black Forest hike, it was 2.5 miles for the Black Forest hike. So it's steep. And, you know, I love a good hike, and I will tell you, I was about 3/4 of the way up, and I tapped my pocket and realized I left my inhaler back on the ship. So, and it was rainy, but it was great. You know, I just kind of, you know, your own body, things like that. I adjusted, finished the walk. It was gorgeous. Rewarded myself at the bottom with a piece of Black Forest cake. Because why wouldn't you have Black Forest cake when you're in the Black Forest? So, absolutely. So, next spot is going to be kind of the heart of Alsace. Is going to be Strasbourg, France. So there's not a whole bunch of shore excursions to do here. You're going to have your 2 tours, which is the Gem of Alsace, which was a great tour, or the bike ride. The bike ride is about 14 miles long, so that's another long one. But I can tell you, this is a date that you're going to be in port for a long day. You're going to pretty much be in port. All aboard is generally about 9 p.m. if all goes well. So if you want to do the bike tour and then explore on your own in Strasbourg, you are more than welcome to. And there are shuttles set up to take you back and forth between the ship and the city center throughout the day as well. The Gem of Alsace tour was great. We got to see the cathedral. Kind of, they do a lot of gingerbread, right? Yeah, gingerbread. It's the gingerbread capital. So if that's something that's up your alley, make sure you take them. They're really good. And then
this is a good place to dine in town because there's a lot of choices. This is a good sized town, so there's a lot of choices. There. One of the things I wanted to say about the bike rides is they're really designed for people that are regular bike riders. Yeah, not first timers. Not I rode a couple years ago. It's people that ride regularly.
Absolutely. With the like the backroads tours. No, you don't need to worry about those ones. So the next stop is going to be Ludwigshafen. That's a name for you if you just want to. Yes, sir. Yes. There'll be other river vessels there as well. But you're going to have your person standing there with their little sign that says, like, AMA, and your shore excursions get coded a color. So you got off the boat with the guy with the blue dot. You're going to look for that guy with the blue dot. But they do a really good job. You don't feel overwhelmed by people around. You know, everybody's in kind of the same mode, so it's a great option to have. We have 153 people total on board. So 70-some cabins. Yeah. Ludwigshafen, that's a name for you. You've got a couple different options here. I chose the romantic Heidelberg excursion, so that takes you up to the Heidelberg Castle, and you learn the history of it. You learn some other little things while you're going through the facets of the building. Like they were talking about some of the statues that are kind of going in the wall, and then you learn that each one of them was named after a certain figure, and then when you translate their names, it's the days of the week in Spanish. And then it talks about the months, so like their calendars were on the walls of the castle with how they were built, with their statues and everything. So it was really interesting. And then you see that picture on the left. That is the world's largest wine barrel. You can see that little thing on top. You can get up there and dance on it if you really want to. So that's a great fun thing. And then there's with that one, there are two options. Some of these tours, they do have different levels, and we'll go through that. But they'll say, okay, if you want to take the bus back to town, go with these people. If you want to walk down the hill and through the steps, you're going to go with these people. Kind of a little more active option. And then the Heidelberg Philosopher's Hike, it's just a couple miles. I think it's a 3-hour hike, but you do not get to see the castles or any of that. So just know that's going to be like a forest hike type thing. And then the bike tour is going to be 21.1 miles. So that's going to be a great, everybody who came back from a bike tour, because you're not going to get me on a bike tour, they were all just raving about how beautiful it was and how great it was outside. And then you did the Secrets of the Spire, correct?
I did. So on Secrets of the Spire, so the big focus in Spire is its cathedral. So that was part of the tour. And then and we visited a couple other churches, which were really from from a decor, it was really interesting to be able to see. Otherwise, that town too. I mean, I wandered the town, had pretzels. Right. Yeah. So there's different things to explore there as well. I stepped back into the cathedral after the tour, and the organist was performing. For whatever, I don't know, I can't promise it always happens, but those are the kind of like fun things that you kind of stumble upon when you're traveling. Yeah.
And this is going to be one of the, I think there's 2 different ports. So this one is actually a double port day. So you actually get 2 sets of shore excursions. You're going to get your shore excursion in the morning, and then we're going to make our way to Rudesheim for the evening. So you're going to have 2 options in Rudesheim in the morning or in the evening, and then you're going to have more options the next morning as well. So you can ultimately do 2 excursions on that. So for the evening, I'll talk about mine, let Janice talk about which one she did. I did the Rudesheimer coffee. So if you are a bourbon, brandy, scotch person, Rudesheimer coffee is a very special form of coffee. They flambe brandy and then pour your coffee in it. They've got a really good whipped cream with like chocolate that goes on top of it. I'll see you there. So that was where it went. They take you down to a nice local restaurant, and they're just right there to serve it for you. And they absolutely love sharing that culture. When you're walking down the streets, you're going to see signs for the Rudesheimer coffee. So that's something that's very particular. And you did the Sigrid's Mechanical Museum.
Yeah, so I did the Mechanical Museum, and these are instruments that go back to the early 1900s, and they're like they don't have somebody play them, and they all have multiple parts to them, right? So there's like a piano and drum and cymbals that are all playing a song together. So it's kind of interesting, like a player piano, but it's like the whole band. And it's an extensive museum. It was surprisingly large, and the guide in the museum was darling. I mean, he just really made the tour interesting because you could sit there and go, well, I don't know, but he really was a good guide.
And then the next morning, because you're actually going to be in walking distance from the ship as well. We had people that decided they were going to stay in town, and then they walked back. Even the next day, they decided, hey, we're going to meet you guys back at the ship. It's a gorgeous afternoon. So it was just, I think it was less than a 10-minute walk back to the ship. So the next morning, the next morning is going to be a good day for you. So just so you know, you've got your 3 options in Rudesheim as well. You've got your bike tour, which is about 14.5 miles up through the hills, and you're in the heart of the wine area. So you've got the winery, the vineyards, and all the such. The gondola ride, which I took this on the gondola ride. So you've got your little 2-person gondola. You're going up to the top. If you do that, you're going to learn a little bit about Germania, who is this huge statue that's up there, and she's the daughter of one of the kings. She's got a whole story that I won't go into that. I won't ruin it for you. And then you did the vineyard hike, which was not what you were expecting, right?
Oh, it was pretty much what I thought it would be. So 6 miles, and when we got back to the vessel, I said, I think that was uphill the whole way. And the other people on the tour was like, I think so too. But it was, I mean, it's beautiful. It's through the vineyards, and what you see along the way kind of makes the tour. And each time it's probably going to be a little different. We saw a little snail, and she goes, yeah, that's an escargot. Like you could eat that. But yeah, there's ruins of a castle up there. There's a place where they have like wine that you can buy, but there's like nobody there. It's like you have to use your credit card, and then that opens the door, and so it's kind of weird. But it's interesting, I guess is a better word for that. But yeah, it was a good tour. It is, but it's a hike.
And that gondola ride does end with a wine tasting. They take you down into a underground vault-ish type thing where you get a couple of tastings. We tasted a dessert wine and a couple different options. It was so funny. Our guide was telling us, or the gentleman at the winery there, he was telling us about this wine that comes from America and how they're big fans of it. And I was like, oh, where's it from? And he's like, the Catawba River. And I was like, I've been there. So that was an interesting conversation to have. I was like, yeah, that's like 2.5 hours away. It's good. I've had it. But I was like, we're over here in France talking about wine from Ohio. This is hilarious. Like I said, we'll wrap up there, and then you can either come back with the group. The way they transport you is really cute. It's a little train. So they pick you up at the port in this little choo-choo train. I think it's called the Choo Choo Express or something like that. And they take you into town with that. You can either come back on that, or you can decide to walk back. Like I said, it wasn't a long walk at all, and it was great to walk through the town. And then we are moving on to this point through the castles. So this is your castle day. I called this the castle tennis day. So you're going to get back on board. You're going to have your lunch. You're going to make yourself all cozy on that top deck. They have blankets up there. That's the day you want to throw on a nice cozy sweater because you're going to be sitting up there. And in your room, like I said, they're going to give you all these different things in your room. We had the castle cruiser that we all had, which broke down by mile marker, which are very blatant on the side of the river. It tells you what mile markers you're at, with the listing of what castles you're seeing, in case you don't want to listen to the cruise manager, which our manager's name will be Betsy. But they're up there on that top deck, and while you're all sitting up there cozy eating your charcuterie board and drinking your Rudesheimer coffee, they're going, okay, to the left is this castle. This is the history of this. To the right, okay, you see that castle. This brother built that castle, and then he ticked his other brother off, so he built a castle right in front of it. And then they had a war, so they built a wall in between the two of them. So, but you're literally going down the river, and you're going right, left, right, and it's gorgeous. You'll learn about the story of Lorelei Rock and all these different things in that area. And these are some of the pictures I took myself just on my camera phone. So you're going to have these gorgeous castles that are right there for you to see. This is on May 8th, yes. And then this evening is another port where you're going to have two. Everybody gets to do the castle visit this night. So right at the end of where we're going to hit with that the Rhine cruise with the castles, they're going to let you off there. We're going to take you by bus up this little hill, and then you have about less than a football field, like 100 yards to walk up to this. It's Lahnstein Castle, or it's the Lahnneck Castle in Lahnstein. So it's a still functioning castle. It's owned by like the great-great-grandchildren of the gentleman who built it or something like that. How many greats down? There's one room that the flooring is so original, you have to put these like felt booties on. And then you have to like ping one your way through it because they'll fling off your feet, but to protect the flooring. You're going to see what the kitchen looked like. You're going to stand in the courtyard, which if there's anybody who watches any of those period pieces, like standing in that courtyard reminded me of something from like Outlander. It's very gorgeous. And getting to go through the castle, there was a little jail portion in there as well. And they'll kind of rotate you. Like I said, everybody gets to do it. So they'll do this group goes in, this group can check out the restaurant or the shop, and then they'll get you in good pairs. Did you have anything to say about this one? And then you're back on board the next day, and we're headed to good old Cologne. So if this is the spot, if you are a beer drinker, this is where you're going to go. So has anybody heard of Kolsch beer? So it's not my favorite, but it's up at the top of the list. I can tell you that much. So Cologne is a gorgeous city. The cathedral there, which is that cathedral, is just breathtaking. And we're going to be, parked essentially walking distance from all of this. So you're not going to worry about having to transfer into the city. So you've got your Holy City walking tour and cathedral visit, which was great because they kind of took us through the town. We learned a little about the history. You know, this statue stands for these people. If you shake this guy's hand, you're going to get money. Like this whole way of life. And they're one of the largest cities that has a carnival. You wouldn't think that, but in Cologne they have a huge carnival. So they have like 4 major seasons and carnival where the city essentially shuts down for 3 weeks or something. So it's a great city. The Kolsch beer tasting, you're going to get a little bit of a tour. They're going to take you to the cathedral to kind of see it. Then they're going to plop you down at one of the Kolsch bars. And you get to have a nice little tasting. As you see, that's my little glass with these like potato pancake things, kind of like a latke, but kind of not. I could have eaten like 8 of them, which was great. And then you're kind of left on your own after that to explore the rest of the city, find another Kolsch bar, go have another beer. We did a little bit of shopping in this port. I have a picture, and I should have put it up there. I was taking a picture in front of the cathedral, and I look over, and Janice is walking toward me. So my friend got a picture, and I'm like, like looking at Janice. So it was great. And then the bike tour as well, which I did not put the distance on there. But as you can guess, the bike tour is a 11-mile tour, and you did the walking tour, right?
Yeah, I did the walking tour. I'm not sure that there's a whole lot I can add to what she said. Because you learn the history, but one thing I know that Lisa would want me to tell you is try the pastries. Along the river, try the pastries. Now's not the time to go easy on yourself. But I did do the walking tour. And another thing I want to say, we often think of Europe when we think of World War II. But Europe is so old, like I was saying. And so you'll hear a lot about it. In Cologne, there's a place where you'll see walls built by the Romans. So it's like, it's just really interesting. And you'll hear stories about people that actually had to live through World War II right in it, versus, we're just a little bit more removed. And it just adds a dimension, just a different dimension to our thoughts and our feelings about it.
And was it Cologne where they told us that the city actually changed what country it was in several times. It went back and forth between like Germany and France. Was it Strasbourg? So that's how much the history is. These cities were like, I don't want to say pawns, but they were integral parts and ports because of the river. So you're going to learn all about those crazy things. Next up, we're going to head into Amsterdam. I will say we're going to finish up in Amsterdam. There'll be some things we'll give you a rundown of. We are overnighting in Amsterdam. So you've got once we get there about 1 o'clock, you're free to start your excursions and such. And then you'll settle your account on board. If you choose, you want to come back to the ship and have dinner that night, you're more than welcome to. If you decide you want to find there's a restaurant that's all dedicated to like American TV moms. Like there's a lot of different like cultural things that they like celebrate over there. You can go and have dinner at one of those restaurants. I mean, it's, you're there, why not? One note that you guys haven't seen yet, on your the flyer from when we set it up, the shore excursions for here were the canal cruise or the walking tour. There's no walking tour. It's the tour out to the Keukenhof gardens. So you get a chance to kind of see those tulips. And I will 100% be honest, tulip season kind of ends that week into the next week. So there might not be as many, but those gardens have their set close date as being May 14th. So they're planning on operating all the way up to May 14th. So you're going to see some beautiful sights, and you won't have to worry about arranging to get yourself out there as well. Anything about disembarkation day? There will be a Well, no, with the shore excursion, you can either choose the canal cruise or the gardens. This is through AMA. Yeah, it's your included shore excursion. Yeah, well, you'll do that. And there will be on our way up, since we don't get there until around lunchtime-ish, they'll do a disembarkation chat and kind of go through like the colors of your luggage tags, what you're going to do with your luggage. They're going to have all your air schedules and whether or not you're going to the post hotel or going to the airport, and they're going to set up all those times for you. And when you walk off on that next morning, they have all your luggage ready, and they're like, okay, you're going to the hotel, you're going over here. Okay, this taxi is waiting for you, because you all have the same flight. So they've got all that set for you. They are so great with that. It was so seamless that day. Notes for you?
No.
I would say definitely take the tulip, the garden tour, because you can take the canal anytime in Amsterdam.
Yeah, so you can, if you decide you want to do the gardens, when you get back in the evening, take a canal cruise. That's going to be a really good option for you. And there's so many of those different tours offered, but you're only going to have one Keukenhof Gardens experience. So, you guys all got the email about Anne Frank. So if you grab those tickets, I looked yesterday and there still are some tickets available. So if you haven't got them yet, there still are open. And if you have chosen to do your post-stay with us at the Hyatt Regency as well, we're going to get you over there. They're going to check your luggage, and then you're free to go for the day. We're not going to make you sit there until your rooms are ready. They do have a really good restaurant if you choose not to eat breakfast on board the ship, which you probably should. And then you're free to go. And we're going to get you right over there by taxi, so that's probably going to be like a $20, $25 taxi ride split across like 4. So it's a really good price for us. And the taxi drivers are insane. Like, God bless their souls. Because the bikes think they have the right of way and they don't care if you're a car, they're going to go. Very brave. Or not the smartest. And then when you choose to leave, because some of you are staying up until 3 nights prior, they're going to get a taxi for you. You're going to go out to the airport. It's about 13 miles. When I looked at the math, because we ran over to the hotel to do a site inspection and then went to the airport, so our taxi driver actually offered to keep our tab open and then come back and get us at the end of our inspection. So it was just one big bill for him. But it probably ended up being about, I want to say about $40 from the hotel to the airport. With 4 people. I mean, it's so great. And we had a full van. Like, it was a van. It wasn't like you're shoving everybody into sardines as well.
A lot of you that are regular cruisers, like they'll charge airport fees like $60, $40
Yeah.
Like taking a cab over there, it's so easy and so inexpensive. You'll end up knowing people and share cabs and very inexpensive.
So I know there's lots of questions about your online check-in. So you have been given a sheet of paper with your online check-in information, and then I'm going to be sending an email. The three of us are going to send an email out tonight that has kind of like we have documentation for you on where to go on AMA, how you do your check-in, your shore excursions. Real simple. I think it's like 11 steps to do your check-in. It's easy. Well, that job aid is going to be emailed to you. So it's a big document. So I didn't want to mess with all that. So on your cruise check-in, you are going to go ahead and enter all your information in, and then you get your travel packet of your Enchanting Rhine documents. So this is going to be all of those little questions that you might have. I mean, they talk about your split exit in Basel. They're going to talk about some of your more in-depth on your shore excursions. That's going to be on there. Your timing, preparing for your journey, what the salon's like on board. So this is going to be available. It should be available any day. They told us 30 days. That's why we hadn't sent in booking instructions or the booking information out, but it's still not there yet. But you have until 7 days prior to do that. So that's something you want to make sure you just kind of get done. And then once you complete that online check-in, the very next button down is your shore excursions. And then you just is going to pull them all up, and you just go bloop, bloop, bloop.
And if anybody needs theirs printed out, can't get to a printer at work, or you don't have a printer, then
You just let us know. We'll be happy to print them for you. Yes, Miss Hope? Yes. Yes. There's so much that we have to send out. I didn't want to like overload you with paperwork tonight when a lot of that stuff is actually links. So that's definitely something that. Where did I throw my little clicker? Oh, thanks. Shore excursions. I know we talked about some of those briefly. I know I mentioned there's different levels. So there's gentle walkers, regular walkers, active walkers, and then on some tours there is a late starter. So you may not be starting at 8:30. Let's go ahead and start you at 11. So some of those ports where we're in a little longer, there's those different options. There's the bike tours as well. And then, like I said, everyone can register for that second one with the castle visit. And then in Rudesheim, remember, you get two, one in the evening, one in the night. And then, Janice, I'll have you talk about the gentle walkers.
Sure. The gentle walkers is for people that maybe can't walk or don't want to walk as fast. So, and I've done this a lot because I've traveled a lot with my mom. So, and it's nice for that. And they kind of adjust. They either take longer to do the tour or they cut off a portion of the tour. It kind of depends on the town, but it's a nice leisurely walk. And I think, for me, I was like, well, it's kind of a stop and smell the roses kind of tour. I have that opportunity versus being moved on to the next spot. So I think that's a good, and you don't have to choose one all the way. It's today you could do a leisurely one and tomorrow you do a little faster. The active walkers is a very fast paced, and it's not designed to stop and share a lot of history. It's designed to be a walk.
Okay, so we're going to cover some kind of odds and ends before we get into some, this is essentially like our frequently asked questions. We kind of polled the questions we were getting a lot of, so that way we had them all documented for you as well. And then we'll go into open questions after that. So like I said, an email will go out. It'll probably be tomorrow morning. It's going to have a copy of that gray sheet of paper with your booking number on it as well. Instructions on creating your account, shore excursion list, instructions on selecting your shore excursions, a sample laundry menu, a sample menu for the chef's table, so you can see kind of the tasting options that were with that as well. You've already got a copy of your guest list, but we'll go ahead and make sure you have that on email as well. Sample packing list, you have that, but we're going to make sure it's in that email as well. And then your pre and post, so that way you have them all digitally as well. So that's, we're going to kind of go through there. And there's going to be a link in there about planning for your trip to Europe from AMA, where they're going to break down a whole bunch of information that you probably would have never thought of. Some of the questions, we get this one a lot. Do we need to be vaccinated? That doesn't matter anymore. You're good, vaccinated or not. That's not a concern anymore for that. Foreign currency, you will need Swiss franc for Basel and euro for everyone else. You want to talk about the values and credit cards?
Yeah, sure. Do you mean the?
Like how much you get?
Oh, yeah. So I think, and one of the reasons to have a little cash is, so first of all, you might want something for a gratuity for the local guide. On your shore excursions, and then also for maybe smaller purchases like a postcard or a bottle of water while you're in town, because there's a lot more mom and pop operations in Europe, and they might have a minimum purchase requirement to take a credit card. So having some smaller, some cash is a good idea. So probably in Basel, not too much, right? What do we think? Like,
I brought about 100 and was fine. Basel is a little more expensive than other cities.
And the thing is, too, as soon as you get off in Basel, there is a currency if you can't get
Right
to
in the
your
airport.
main branch of your bank to order. So you don't really have to get Swiss. You can get it right here. You'll just pay slightly more in a fee, but you're getting so little that you're talking a couple dollars. So it's not a big deal. But euros.
and now's a good time to order through your bank, because if they have to order it from another city, it'll have a chance to get here. And euro is probably a couple $100 a person. I mean, it's just always, I feel, a good idea to have some cash on hand. As far as and you won't get €1 and €2 coins here. Probably the smallest bill you'll get is a €5 bill. It's pretty close to 1-to-1 right now. It's probably it costs like $1.06 for €1, $1.09. Yeah.
They do not take U.S. dollars.
They do not take U.S. dollars. No.
Any major purchase, always put it on your credit card. Then you have a reason. If there's something wrong, you have a you have a yes, and you get the best exchange rate. So any major purchases, always put on a credit card. Always, always, always.
Yeah, the one thing to note about credit cards is just to double check whether your credit card charges a foreign transaction fee. Yeah, so now's a good time to be checking that as well. If you have a Capital One card, they don't charge a foreign transaction on any of their cards.
Visa and MasterCard, widely accepted. American Visa and MasterCard, very widely accepted across Europe. American Express, meh. Discover, just don't even bring it. But we,
Anybody's a Discover person, get an alternate credit card.
yeah,
Or 100% American Express, get an alternate.
absolutely. And then let's see. There's lots of questions about dress code. Lisa, you want to talk about dress code? We can do it. We all decided to wear a varying idea of what is good to wear for dinner. So we've got a nice business casual attire choices out here. So I'm going to let Miss Lisa talk here.
Yeah, so no one is going to throw you off the ship. No foreigner is going to tackle you if you are wearing jeans or yoga pants, contrary to what you may have heard. So pretty much you can get away with just about anything. I mean, you're going to want to look nice during the day. I had gotten sick and ended up in leggings on the ship, and the crew was pulling me in. Don't miss dinner. Come in. This was pre-COVID, by the way. Come on in, sit down. So whatever you're comfortable in. Now, I don't know if these cities are like Italy. Cathedrals, do they require shoulders and knees covered?
I did not see anything, but it was a fall.
Oh, yeah.
So
I would expect so. I would treat it.
Yeah, yeah. Shoulders and knees covered for any time you go into a religious site. As long as they cover your knees. So any shorts above the knees. So if you know we're going to a cathedral that day, that might not be the day to wear shorts. But if you're going up for hiking or you're going up to the vineyards and you want to put on a pair of shorts, that's the day to do it.
And my dress will cover knees for a cathedral.
Right.
Mine is just a pocket, simple dress.
So what? I will tell you, if you choose to wear your OSU Buckeye paraphernalia, any T-shirts, be ready to hear across the street or anywhere, OH! You will hear it. So anyway, yep.
And then, like, don't feel pressured. Because I know there's some days that, like, the bike ride would get back really close to dinner. And, like, those people just kind of ran to their room, freshened up a little bit, made sure they weren't all gunky and came out to dinner. But, you know, kind of, I think what everybody has on here is good for dinner. You just want to, they say business casual, but like Lisa said, you know, we're not going to turn our noses up at you. We want you to be comfortable. Yeah. No ties, no dinner jackets. I mean, if you want to wear a ball gown, you can wear a ball gown. Yeah. And kind of some things that are, I would say, more common sense, but I feel like everybody needs to be reminded. If you're planning on doing a hike, make sure you got good shoes. If you plan on riding a bike, make sure you got things you're comfortable riding a bike in. Just kind of those different things are just those kind of, if you know you're going to go to the gym every morning, you know, make sure you have that stuff ready. If you're going to wake up, yeah, so I was going to say, they have a morning stretch, and sometimes they have them in the afternoon, depending on what's going on board. But about 7:30, you get up there with the wellness host on that sun deck as the sun's rising, and you're giving yourself a nice, good stretch for the day. It was surprisingly very nice. So, do you need an adapter? Yes. There are no US plugs on board. There are two USB plugs by the lamp beside the bed. You will need the 2-pin, and we've got it on your documentation, so you have it in writing on there. So this is what mine look like. So mine has the different variations of what countries, and I just pushed the Europe one out. Amazon. So
Be careful because there are converters that look that way.
Yeah.
And adapters that look that way. Converters are great for your electronics, your iPhone, your laptop, your Kindle, your iPad. That does not need to basically be converted. But if you're taking a blow dryer or a curling iron and you plug it into an adapter, you'll fry it.
Yeah.
You need a converter for that because it's 220 volt.
They have blow dryers in your rooms.
Yeah.
You don't need to bring those. The converters are great, just you need something that has an actual adapter to, if you're on a run like a curling iron or something stronger than that. The converter. You need a converter to convert the power from the 110 to the 220. So make sure you don't get it blown out. Yeah. We'll send in that email tomorrow just some kind of like the best Amazon purchases, you know, that's got the I think it's an adapter. Yeah. That's the one you borrowed. It's a converter, yeah. But like I said, right there behind your lamp on your bed, there's 2 USB plugs. So my phone was essentially plugged into that the whole time to run off the USB charge.
So the only thing you're going to need that for is a men's electric shaver or a women's curling iron.
Probably so.
Your CPAP.
CPAPs are generally dual voltage, but you'll have to look at yours. CPAP machines are generally dual voltage, but with any of that, take a look at its. Look at it. You still have to have the 2-pin, but do take a look at it because we don't want you getting over there and frying your CPAP machine. But it should be dual voltage.
And then if you have a CPAP machine, we actually need to know that because the ship has to prepare for you. So tomorrow, reply back to the email and say, hey, great, we have a CPAP. So that way we can let the ship know so they're prepared for everything you're going to need in your room. Candy?
Yeah, the airline needs to know.
Yeah.
too, but I've always used mine.
Yeah. The question was that one of the documentation said no curling irons. I know I brought mine and it was fine with my converter. Janice had one that was fine. I actually have a friend who has one that has the 2-pin because she does a lot of travel in Europe, so I brought that last time. But not everybody's going to need to buy a 2-pin curling iron if you're not going to be going over there a lot. The kind of the question always gets asked, when should I get to the airport? You know, everybody's kind of used to 2 hours. You know, right now they're saying 3 for international. We just have to cover our bases and go with what they say. 3 hours is what we recommend. It just kind of depends on the airport, especially coming home when you're going through Amsterdam. Amsterdam can be a hard one to come home from sometimes. Your 4 hours is rough. Your 3 hours is rough. So just make sure that you're prepared. You've got your flight alerts on, all of those different things. Yes.
Well, I can tell you I've gotten to Columbus Airport random day and the security lines to the doors. So we just don't know.
Yeah.
And it's better to be there twiddling your thumbs than missing your flight.
We did get a lot of questions asking about what language is spoken on board. The official language on board is English, and the majority of, I don't think we found a port where they didn't actually speak English. And it, like, we walked into one store, and we hadn't spoken anything yet, and the girl kind of started speaking German, and I guess I made a look, and she was like, American, and started speaking in English. So they're great with that. Can you bring alcohol on board? This is a little different than a regular cruise ship. Yes, you can bring alcohol on board. There is not a limit to how many bottles you can bring on board. Wine, spirits, the whole thing. There is not a corkage fee either. Yeah. There is a corkage fee if you bring your bottles to the dining room. If you open them in your room, they actually give you a cork in your room for opening it yourself. So that's A+ great right there. Yes, so liquor and different things like that outside of the sip and sail with their one chosen drink for the sip and sail. Any of your liquor is going to be at a cost.
You can buy your liquor over there even. Yeah, you can buy your liquor when you get to the ports and just carry it back on the ship, buy bottles of wine or beer, whatever, if you're not finding on board what you're used to drinking.
Okay, had this question a few times. Is there an elevator on board? Yes, the Amasana is one of the few AMA waterways that has elevator that goes all 3 decks. It does not reach the sun deck, but it's just like I think it's about 8 steps that get you up there. So you're going to have a good option if you need to utilize that elevator. Are your gratuities included? Yes, your gratuities are included for everybody on the ship. You just, have something in there for the local guides that are taking you around and such. I know we've talked about, like, gratuity at restaurants and everything are kind of frowned upon, but those local guides will happily take a euro or 2 as they showed you around. Yeah, restaurants are the tricky one when it comes to tipping.
Yeah, generally they're going to just add a service charge, and then it would be appropriate to put in a euro or 2 euros down on the table. But you don't need to go any crazier than that.
We talked about the crossing of the river vessels. Sometimes you're walking through one. Sometimes people from another ship are walking through yours, so that's great. And then they have a system called the quiet box system. So when you get in your stateroom, you're going to see these 2 little things that look like walkie-talkies. I know we had our own earplugs, but those are what you're going to take off the ship with you for your shore excursion. So that way the guide isn't doing what we're doing right now and hollering to the back of the room. They have the little headset, and they're talking at a volume like this. But you've got your earphone in, your earbud in, listening to them talk, so you don't have any question or concern of what they're saying. It's clear in your ear. That is provided for you in your stateroom. So you'll just take that on and off with you, put it back on the charger when you get back on board. Packing details. I'm going to kind of let the ladies talk about that, but I will say, if you have not already invested in something like this, a tile or an Apple AirTag to go in your luggage. Tile, Apple AirTag. But we'll kind of go through this, let you ladies pass through that.
Okay, one thing we hear about luggage disappearing, and a good idea is to cross pack. So half of your stuff in his bag, half of his stuff in your bag, and that way, if one bag goes astray, one person isn't without everything. So that's something to think about. She talked about the air tag. And we talked about dining and the evening being business. Yeah. It's the tag.
They're Apple AirTags and Tile tags. They're Bluetooth tracking tags. So like I slip it into the pocket, that zipper pocket of my suitcase, and then like on this last Buckeye cruise, my bag took a little longer to come out, so I was kind of worried. I opened up the app on my phone, and it said, my bag was 30 feet away, and about 2 minutes later, it was right in front of me. So this is like a real-time tracker for your suitcases. You can get tiles and Apple AirTags at Apple stores. I got my tiles at Target, and they're all available on Amazon as well. Obviously, if you're like me and an Android, you can't use an Apple tag. That's why I have a tile. But they work just as well. And then, like, if I need to, just a side note, if I can't find my phone, it's not going to do it because my phone's on silent. It pings my phone. So it helps me find my phone. You can also attach it to like your car keys, different things like that, but I use it for luggage.
Okay, and so we talked about, the weather will be kind of pleasant at that time of the year, but it's something to think about, taking a light jacket, a light sweater. I always take a light sweater with me because you never quite know what air conditioning is going to be like on board, and we all vary with that. Some of you might be going up into some higher elevations for tours, so consider that because there's probably still snow up there. Probably wouldn't need a parka, but you'd at least want to be able to layer up a little bit. Don't overpack, right? Less is more. Okay, I'm a recovering overpacker myself, so so your checked bag you're going to limit to no more than 50 pounds. Remember, when you're going over, you might shop while you're there. So you might need some space coming back, so take that into consideration. But it's cheaper to take a second bag than it is to pay for the overweight charges. So kind of keep that in mind. There are robes and slippers in the room, so you can consider that you don't need to bring that. Now, for those of you that are doing a little bit more travel pre and post, that's a different consideration. So just get with one of us if you have any additional questions along those lines. Yeah. Probably if you wore something twice, we're not going to know. Let's see. So
medication. If you're one of those people like me that has a lot of prescriptions, your medicine goes in your carry-on. It does not go in your checked bag. Medication in your carry-on.
Yeah, so let's talk about the carry-on then. Yes, any medications, your passport. Oh, sorry. Anything else that you can't live the rest of your life without. If you take grandma's shawl and you die if you lost it, leave it at home or carry it on with you. Another thing I take with me in my carry-on is individually wrapped wet ones and hand sanitizer. I take it very seriously about staying healthy while I travel. So part of it is an awareness. Keep your hands clean and keep them away from your face. So if you get on a bus and you just pulled yourself into that bus, you just touched everybody else's hands. So just make it an awareness thing and then have the tools. So I get on an airplane, I take that wet one, I wipe down everything in my area. So something to think about. Let's see. Anything else we needed to think about?
Making a copy of your passport along with a copy of your travel itinerary and leaving that with somebody safe back home as well. I like to keep a copy of my passport. I've taken a photo of it on my phone when I travel, so that way if anything happens, I do have that. But it also helps if somebody back home knows, hey, if something happens, you're in this port, you're in this city. The travel documents actually do have an emergency phone number on there if somebody needs to reach you, and give them a copy of your passport. I know some people will leave car keys, house keys with a friend, somebody they trust. Leaves that stuff with them as well. Then that if your husband loses all his belongings, he's meant to stay in Germany. So that's going to be how that goes. It will happen. So just make sure you have extra copies of all of your things. The question was, what happens if you lose your passport, lose, your ID, things like that. Those will happen. When that happens, that's when we're reaching out to the U.S. Embassy that we're going to, don't do it. We're going to work with the cruise manager to make sure, we've gotten a hold of the right contacts in the government. That's why it always helps if somebody has a copy of your photo, husbands, have one of your wives, have your husbands as well. Put your passport in the safe in your room.
Wallets, gentlemen, do not carry them in your pockets.
And if
Be prepared that you're going to be pickpocketed.
so, my one tip: if guys have to bring a wallet, it's going to go in this pocket right here. It's going to be in the front pocket where it's going to be blatantly obvious if somebody's sticking their hand in your pocket. Back pocket, they just slip those right out. Women, crossbody. They have some great crossbodies out there that have a strap that cannot be cut. So, have one of those crossbodies on. Keep everything close to your body. If you have a jacket on, I always tell people traveling, your crossbody goes on and then your jacket goes over it. So your purse isn't out there for everybody. Yes, question? No. The question was, should you take your passport off the ship with you every day? The answer to that is no. Just make sure you have your copy. You're going to have a room key to get you on and off the ship. So they're going to take your photo and all that standard things. So you can get back on the ship if needed. But your passport should stay in that safe until it's time to get off. One tip I have, because like I said, I travel with a lot of medication. And traveling with a lot of medication sometimes can be really daunting if you're trying to keep them in the same bottles. Some people prefer that. I like to take my medication, like I go into like my CVS account and print off my medication list. So that way, if something happens, like it's all there. If the TSA is asking, okay, if they actually pull your pills, what's this little green pill? And you're like, oh, it's this one. It does this, but you have the name of it and everything there. I always try to keep a copy of all my medications with me somewhere when I'm traveling. Okay, we're going to open it. Before we start drawing prizes up here, what questions do we have that have not been answered? Okay, we got back there, Mr. Folk. The question is about the river levels. We know last summer the river levels were a little low. Alma is actually one of the best ships when it comes to that, the best lines. They have a really low density on the bottom of their ship, so they were one of the only ones that could still operate. But coming in the spring, that definitely should not be an issue because snow melt, spring showers, so that's not something we're going to need to really worry about for this time. Yes, sir? Dietary food restrictions, they are great with that. I have a shellfish and a seafood allergy, so when you're filling out all that information on your personal stuff, make sure you list that on there, and then let them know on board. When you check in, you can kind of recap, you've got me flagged for a food allergy of this such. If it's something that you want us to relay in advance and just send it over, like you're going to send your CPAP note over, just be like, hey, can you make sure it's noted on the manifest that I have this? Yes. That all of that stuff regarding your medical things, those are all listed on your personnel. And there's going to be a health questionnaire as well that we'll have that information listed on there. You will address that. The question was the dietary restrictions for your plane over. With your, like, you're going to have the airline app on your phone, and you're going to have your flights loaded. If you're a SkyMiles traveler, I know my dietary restrictions are already in my SkyMiles account, so anything that it automatically transfers over. But you can go into your airline registration and put that note. But if we've done your air for you, just let us know. Just like if you need a wheelchair at the airport, let us know. We'll make sure it gets flagged on your travel note or your air reservation. Yes, sir.
If everybody wanted to go on the same excursion at 4th, does it get closed out? Is there any opportunity?
The question is, if everybody wants to do the same one, is that going to be a problem? I don't really think so, because you can actually continue to book your shore excursions until you're on board. The day before, if you decide you don't want to do that excursion, you can change it right there. With only 153 people, that's just a couple motor coaches. And like we had a couple tourists where one might have been a more active walker, so it had a different bus. So there were only 10 of us on that bus. And they had a lot of flexibility on that.
I think they just add more local guides if they need it.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. Next question. This actually, everybody has the question was, will this presentation be out anywhere? You all have a copy of the link that was sent to everybody on email. This link is so good, and it's going to be stored on that YouTube link. So you can go back and reference this presentation and this whole thing. The camera's been recording us. So you'll be able to watch it and retake any notes that you have as well. Any other questions? Yes, sir? Yes. Absolutely. The question was, with embarkation being at 3 p.m., what if you're in there early? If you want to come and throw your luggage in there, I would probably not do it before like 11. But you are more than welcome to come in and check your luggage and then go back out to Basel. I know after a certain point, sometimes you can't help it. If your flight's in at 1, there's really not much you can do. If you happen to get there and the rooms aren't ready yet, they do serve sandwiches and soups and everything, so you can grab a quick bite on board the ship on that first day. But your rooms won't be ready until 3. Any more questions? Okay, we're going to draw some prizes. And we have... Thanks. We have 2 sets of drawings. We have an in-person one for everybody who's here. Do you want to go get that red bucket? And the stuff. Yeah, we can't mail some of this stuff. And then we have prizes that's generally open for everybody. There's one of them that if you get this one, I hope you're here because it's going to be really hard to ship. For the in-person raffle, we have some wine packaging. So they're nice Ziploc bags that you can seal up and carry wine in your luggage, and it's going to have a nice bubble wrap to it. And we've got some luggage straps. These were provided by Amma. So these are going to be your red tabbies that you've got. So Janice is going to go get that, and then I'll let you guys know the ones that are open for everybody, even everybody online. Everybody's name is in here. We have 10 $50 onboard credits that will be applied. And then this nice 2-piece luggage set. So we're going to, this is up for everybody. Okay. Oh, that's right. We're going to go ahead and get those. And these, you're right. These are the wine things that I was talking about. So this is a nice sealable wine bottle container. So if you want to take luggage, if you want to, you're going to bring wine home, you're going to go ahead and have this ready so that way you can pack it to come home with. And then the luggage straps from Amma as well. So these are going to be the in-person ones. They're grabbing 2 more tickets right now. Then we got some gift cards, or some onboard credits, and the luggage. Okay, so we're going to have Janice. We're going to have Janice draw the first one. Come on, Kimbra.
Okay. Number 780049.
Do you want the luggage, the bottle, or the strap? Do you want the bottle or the luggage strap? There we go. Okay. Next one, Mr. Neese got the first bottle packaging.
780099.
Oh, yay. Do you want the wine packaging or the luggage strap? Perfect. I know everybody's biding time for these onboard credits, but we're going to get there. And that's, like I said, that's everybody here and not here on that drawing.
780023.
Sandy.
Oh, so the husband.
Oh, for your sister? Which one do you want? The wine thing. Perfect. You're good. You're good. I'll get with you. Okay, and then we have three more. We've got one more wine thing and 2 luggage straps.
780175.
Ah! The bottle? Perfect. Okay, we got 2 luggage straps left. We're going to knock these ones out.
780176.
What are the odds? There we go. And then the last one for the in-person.
780159.
159. Last four. There we go. Luggage strap. Perfect. Okay. So, we are going to start with the everybody drawing. So everybody gets in these. Like I said, we have 10 $50 onboard credits and a 2-piece luggage set. So we're going to kind of go from there. We're going to do the 10 onboard credits and then the luggage separately. What do you want? That's hilarious. Yeah. Okay, the first winner for a $50 onboard credit is James Lamb. I think he's online, so congrats, sir. We'll get with you and get that information over to you. Second one is going to be good old Frankie Eckler. I know you're watching from home. Next is going to be Miss Beth Sells. There you go. I was like, I saw her somewhere. So you're going to go ahead and take her one, yeah. We're going to bring you the certificate just so that you have it, but then it'll be noted on your onboard account. Yeah, $50 onboard credit. You can use it in the spa. You can use it in the gift shop. You can use it at the bar, whatever you want to use that for. Okay, next one. Jonathan Payton. I think Lori and Jonathan are watching from home, so we'll get with you. So we're at 4. We got 6 left. Marlene Ashbaugh. $50 onboard credit for Marlene. Like I said, that can be used in the spa, in the bar, in the gift shop, whatever you want to use it for online. Next one. Lawrence Burkhart. Where'd you go? There you are. Perfect. You got a $50 onboard credit coming to you. With the striped shirt. And then we've got Burkhart with a DT and then Burkhart with a T. So we're going to, they're both named like. We have Mr. Robert Whipple. Oh! So you got a $50 onboard credit coming to you, sir? Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We got 3 more left. We got a blank one.
That must be mine.
It's empty. You're good. Bob Matthews. Okay. And then I'm going to make Miss Lisa come up here and do the drawing for the luggage. Well, you're good. Yeah, that Lisa. Well, we got 2 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We got 2 more of the onboard credits to go. Lynn Barno. There we go. Okay, we've got our last onboard credit ready, and then we're going to go for the luggage. I'm going to have Lisa draw the last onboard credit. Nancy Devine. That's your sister, so we're going to get you that. And then Miss Lisa Steffens here is going to draw for this 2-page luggage set. Okay. The winner of the 2-piece Samsonite luggage set is going to be Vaughn Arthur. Okay, guys. Thank you again. Like I said, you're going to get an email tomorrow morning with all of that information and all those lovely documents for you to see. Be sure to send us over any medical issues you need, any of those things that need to be relayed to the ship. Otherwise, we will talk to you soon, and we are so excited. Less than a month ago. Oh, side note, I did find out today, the AMA app will work for charters, but not until 21 days prior. So 3 weeks prior, that AMA app will work for us. So they went ahead and got that turned on for us. So otherwise, we good to go? Yeah. Thank you, guys. Absolutely.
Very informative.
Absolutely.